We are going to Bowser Badlands for a matchup between the son and the father, Bowser Jr. and Bowser. Bowser Jr. is coming off 5 consecutive losses and Bowser's coming off 4 consecutive wins. So judging by recent form, Bowser is heavy favourites to win. But remember, Bowser Jr. can be due for a win, although he's out of finals contention. So Bowser really has something to play for. A win for Bowser will put him at the top of the division, even though he's 6-7 and Bowser Jr. is 4-9. Bowser Jr. to take his first shot, as it's his home game. Bowser Jr. shot. Not bad. It's on the fairway. Bowser's shot. Here comes Bowser. It's on the fairway. It's on the green for Bowser. A nice start for the King of the Koopas. Here comes the Crown Prince of the Koopas, Bowser Jr. It's on its way. Bowser Jr. shot looks good. Well done, BJ. Bowser Jr.'s putt. Missed! Bowser to draw first blood. Here comes Bowser. It's in. 1-0. Hole 2. Some booze there. Bowser to take the first shot. Going to use some super backspin because he might have hit it a bit too hard. Bowser got what he wanted. Bowser Jr. shot. Trying to imitate his father. He aims really nicely here. Really good shot by Bowser Jr. Like father, like son. Bowser's second shot. Here he comes. On the green. Here comes Bowser Jr. Nice on. Bowser's putt. Shouldn't miss it from there. He makes no mistake. Here comes Bowser Jr. Hole 3. Bowser. Is it going to land on the island or get burnt? It's on the fairway. Great shot by Bowser. Bowser Jr. shot. Is it going to work out well for him? Oof. No good. The super imposition of chain chomp noises. You know it's no good. It's out of bounds because it wouldn't be safe to hit it from there. Bowser Jr.'s second shot. Going to use some topspin this time. Is it going to work in his favour? No! The chain chomps are coming at the ball. No good by Bowser Jr. He's in a lot of trouble. His 5th stroke will be more conservative. But who knows, he might even hit the gate and bang, out OB. Hits the gate there, but luckily for Bowser Jr. bounces in the right direction past fairway. Bowser Jr. He's going long, and he's got it across. Bowser's shot. Here comes Bowser. He's on his way. It's on the green. Eagle attempt. Genuine eagle attempt. Bowser Jr.'s in big trouble. He's in hot water. 7th stroke. It's on the green. Bowser Jr. putting for triple bogey. He thought about using short, but it would not have worked well for him there. Bowser Jr.'s putt is too long. Bowser's putt for eagle. It's on its way. It's in! Eagle! Bowser's off to a flying start. Dominating his son. Hole 4. Bowser's shot. He's going to use some backspin. About 5 feet out. Nice shot by Bowser. Here comes Bowser Jr. He's struggling. Hits the boo. Bowser's putt is good. Hole 5, 412 yards. Bowser's going long. Bowser for 1,000? Nah, don't think so. Is Bowser going to hit the volcano? No. It's in the rough, but luckily for Bowser, he hasn't hit it downhill. Bowser Jr. shot, trying to imitate his father. Bowser Jr. shot is in the semi-rough. Bowser. Here he comes. Bowser tries to curve it, but it's not effective. Here comes Bowser Jr. Hits the tree. It's on the fairway. Bowser Jr.'s 3rd shot. He approaches the green with the sand wedge. It looks promising. Nice shot by Bowser Jr. Just under 20 feet out. Bowser's shot. In the border, heavy rough in the borderline heavy rough and heat. Bowser's got it on the green. Bowser Jr.'s putt. It's in. Bowser. It's in too. Hole 6, 421 yards. Bowser. He's taking a big risk, but it seems to have paid off. Bowser goes really long. Heavy, rough. Bowser Jr. shot. It's going to sway right, but luckily for Bowser Jr., it comes in really handy to avoiding the lava. And it's going to bounce under a thwomp. Luckily for Bowser Jr., he's not going to get squashed. It won't squish him. Bowser Jr.'s 2nd shot. It might sway left a little, but it should land on the green. Just on the green, about 20 feet out. Bowser's shot. On the green too, about 50 feet out. Tough putt from there. Bowser's putt's on its way. It's in! What a putt by Bowser. Bowser Jr.'s putt. It's on its way. It's good. Hole 7. Bowser has only scored worse than a birdie in one hole. Can he keep it up with his own statue? No, it's not a Bowser Jr. statue, it's a baby Bowser statue. Because there is no design on the bib. Therefore, it's been Bowser. Judging by its Mario and Luigi Partners in Time appearance. Bowser Jr. shot. The baby version of his father's statue. Even though the differences between the baby version of his father and himself are very subtle. Bowser Jr.'s chip-in attempt. Just a bit wide. Can Bowser go 3 up? Bowser's putt. In it goes, 3-0. Bowser Jr.'s in big trouble. Bowser's doing it easy. Hole 8 and Bowser's got a really big lead. Bowser's shot. Bowser's shot. That is no good. Remotely no good. Not even close. Actually a lot closer than we thought. Still not a good effort in the end. Sprayed that. Bad. Bowser Jr. shot. Trying to land it on that fairway. A more conservative option than what his father tried, but still fairly risky. Bowser's shot. Here comes KBK, King Bowser Cooper. Is it going to work out for him? Trying to do what his son did. Similar position in the row. Bowser Jr. shot. Going a bit more conservative here. Gets it on the fairway. Bowser's shot. Bowser's shot. Is it going to work out well for him or not? Lava. Not even close by Bowser. Not in a good position. So Bowser's next shot will be more conservative. Fairway for Bowser. It's in the heavy rough. Bowser Jr.'s got a really good opportunity to score here. It's on the green. Bowser Jr.'s got a genuine birdie chance. Bowser can chip it in for triple bogey. Drifts a bit right in the end. Bowser Jr.'s putt to get on the board. Bowser Jr.'s on his way. In it goes, 3-1. Hole 9. Bowser Jr.'s finally on the board. Bowser Jr. does not hit it at full strength. But is it going to be enough to land on the ledge? Unfortunately for him, no. Almost fell out of bounds. Bowser's first shot. It's swaying left. Sways very left. Ends up in a similar position to his son, Bowser Jr. Bowser Jr.'s second shot. Getting it out of the heavy rough. It's on the green. Fast fairway. Bowser. It's going to sway a bit. It's not going to hit the bob-omb though. Oh, just next to the bob-omb. Bowser's literally next to a bob-omb. Bowser trying to get it out. It's on the fast fairway. Bowser Jr. is in a really good position to score. Into the Bowser mouth. And some gates. It's on the green for Bowser Jr. Not quite, it's on the fringes of the green. Bowser's shot. Here comes Bowser. Green it is. Bowser Jr.'s putt to draw one back. It's in! 3-2. Bowser Jr.'s coming. We're off to hole 10, and whilst Bowser holds a 3-2 lead, Bowser Jr. has scored the last 2 points on the last 2 holes. Can Bowser Jr. keep up the momentum? Bowser Jr. to take the first shot. His last 2 matches involved a round 17 home game against Peach back at Bowser Badlands and a round 18 away game against Daisy at Blooper Bay. Bowser Jr.'s shot is on the fairway. Good result. Bowser, he's going conservative here, just to make sure he gets more leeway to land it on the green. That's a really unusual tactic which was not used previously. Bowser. Here comes Bowser. It's going to curl a little bit. Unfortunately for Bowser, it hits the thwomp. Tries his best, but hits the thwomp. Bowser Jr. Notches down to a 3-iron. Bowser Jr. is going to rely on a big bounce with the fast fairway. Just enough to get it on the green. Bowser going to use some backspin. Looks set to land on the green, but is very unlikely to stop Bowser Jr. from scoring. Bowser's got it on the fringes of the green. Bowser for par. Shouldn't miss it. It's in. Bowser Jr.'s putt to draw level. It's on his way. In it goes. 3-all. Bowser Jr.'s got 3 in a row. Hole 11. Bowser Jr.'s power shot tally is 5 left. Bowser Jr.'s shot accounts for the win. It looks to land a bit short of the green, about 11 yards out. Bowser's shot. Here comes Bowser. He's relying on the wind. It's on the fairway, just a bit further out compared to his son. Bowser's putt, very ambitious here. Drifts a bit right. Bowser Jr. is going to try the same. Can Bowser Jr. actually get the lead? Not quite. Bowser Jr.'s putt. In it goes. Bowser's putt. Shouldn't miss it from there. About 2 feet out. He's got it in. Hole 12. Nominally 428 yards. Bowser Jr. thought about going long, but he's going a bit more conservative here. Going a bit shorter to minimise the risk. They might hit the Bob-omb though. It's on the fairway for Bowser Jr. Bowser's shot. He's down to 3 powered shots. Bowser goes long. Is he going to land it on that platform? Yes! That's a really good shot by Bowser. Well done, Bowser Jr. Here he comes. Going to use some super backspin. Can it work out for him? 4 inches of the green. It still works out very well for the Little Koopa. Bowser's shot. Here comes King Bowser Koopa. Should land on the green. It's on the green. Looks like he's landed on the green. Well on the green. About 27.5 feet out. Bowser Jr.'s putt, who's actually closer compared to his father. Bowser Jr.'s putt. It's in! Bowser. Pressure's on Bowser. A miss here will give Bowser Jr. the lead for the first time. Bowser's putt. Bit wide. Bowser Jr. is in front. 4-3. Well done, Bowser Jr. He's coming. Hole 13. Bowser Jr. to go long. Not just long, really long. Bowser Jr., he goes long. But I'm afraid he's gone too long. It's out of bounds. Bowser can relax here. Semi-rough. Here comes Bowser Jr. Here comes Bowser. Yikes! He's got it out of bounds. Bowser Jr. now has a chance. Bowser's shot. This time it's not in the lava, but hits the wall. Hits the fence. Bowser Jr. trying to throw it through the fence. Bowser Jr. shot. It's a really difficult thing to time. He's got it through the fence. That's a good result for Bowser Jr. A little short on the fairway though. But still, Bowser Jr. is looking really good. Here comes Bowser. He's on his way. Green it is. Bowser Jr.'s chip-in attempt. Bowser putting for bogey. Bowser's putt. In it goes. Bowser Jr. for bogey. He's got it in. Bowser Jr. still leads 4-3. Hole 14. Bowser Jr. is going to try and aim it a bit higher. What? Bowser Jr. mitigating the spread of COVID by wearing a mask, even in the Koopa Kingdom. We don't know if COVID-19 has hit the Mushroom Kingdom or any of the Mario locations. Bowser's shot. How will he fare? It's in the rough. Bowser's shot. Ooh, gets it under the bridge instead of over. He's got it under. Bowser. Some magic here. Koopa magic. On the fringes of the green. That turned out to be a great result for him. Some Koopa magic by Bowser. Bowser Jr. Bowser Jr. hits it a bit short, down to 4. And he's hit the brick. Bouncing a bit backwards. Oh, just almost fell into the lava. Bowser Jr. got a bit lucky there, but he's a stroke behind here. Luckily for Bowser Jr., he moves it a bit off centre on the fairway. Bowser Jr., he aims to get it on the green here, but this will be his 4th stroke. Bowser should score on this hole. Bowser Jr.'s got it on the green, but he's 68.1 feet out. Bowser, whilst he's on the fringes of the green, is a lot closer. Bowser's putt is a bit long. Bowser Jr.'s putt. This is going to be tough. For bogey, it's on his way. That was a really good attempt, but just a bit wide. Bowser to score. Scores level, 4-all. Bowser Jr. 4, Bowser 4. Currently at the moment, Ludwig stands on top of the Koopas division despite having a record of 7-7. But a win for Bowser will put him on the top. However, a win for Bowser Jr. will keep Ludwig at the top. And Koopa Trooper is only half a game behind, which will make Bowser vs Koopa Trooper in the last round very, very vital. Bowser Jr. shot. He goes long. Rough. Here comes Bowser Jr. Both characters have had the bye in round 15, so this is their round 16 matchup. Originally it was for round 15, but due to filming restrictions and study reasons, it was stretched out to round 16. Bowser's shot is also on the green, on the fringes. Bowser Jr.'s chip-in attempt is going to work out for him, or is he left it a bit narrow? Almost. That was a pretty good attempt by Bowser Jr. But Bowser. Bowser's putt. In! Bowser's in front. 5-4. Bowser Jr. is screaming. He's not impressed that his father's beating him now. Bowser, he's going to go long. Here comes Bowser. King Bowser Koopa goes super long. Oh, 267.6 yards out. As Bowser Jr. would say. Bowser Jr. He goes long. He hits it high. Down to 4 power shots. But luckily for Bowser Jr., he's kept it on the fairway. Bowser Jr., he's going all the way. The womp squishes and falls flat. Therefore, it's no longer a hazard for Bowser to deal with. Bowser taking a big risk. And it is no good at all. Drifts very left and he's out of bounds. Bowser tried to get it on the green here. Oh, Bowser. Shocking miss. Down to 2 power shots at this vital time. Bowser's hit it out of bounds. Bowser. He's pretty much in big trouble. Bowser Jr. should score on this hole. Here comes Bowser. Tries to chip it in, but he's going to have to settle for a triple bogey at best, unfortunately. Bowser Jr. going for Eagle here. Going a bit aggressive for Eagle. It's on the green for Bowser Jr. About 5 feet out. 4.5 more closely. Bowser's putt in. Triple bogey. Bowser Jr. He's drawn level again. 5 all. Hole 17. Bowser Jr. He's looking very good so far. 5 all. He's come back from 3-0 down, but he's 5 all now. Womp has squashed the ball. Bowser's shot. Need a lot of precision to hit the ball well. Bowser's shot. Aims carefully. Avoids the thwomp. Is it going to be enough? Bounces on the fort rock. The rock of the fort. No, not Rockfort cheese. Luckily for Bowser, his shot ends up being very good in the end. Bowser Jr.'s shot. It's going to sway a bit left. But the shot looks really promising. It looks good for Bowser Jr. About 18.92 feet out. Well done. Bowser's shot. It's on its way. It's on the fringes of the green. Bowser's putt. It's in! Just in, but it's in, and that's what matters. Bowser Jr., there's a lot of pressure. Pressure's on. The putt is a bit wide. Bowser's back in front. Dormy hole for hole 18. Bowser to go top of the Coopers division here. Bowser's shot. Here comes the king of the Coopers. Bowser. Drops a bit. Rough, almost on the fringes of the green. Bowser Jr. shot. Here he comes. It looks set to land on the green. Just on the green. About 9 feet out. Bowser. He's going to do a bit of a bizarre putt. Bowser's putt. It's on its way. In it goes! Bowser wins! 6-5. Bowser has won 5 in a row and is now on top of the Coopers division. It will show 5-7, but Bowser is victorious. 5-6. As Bowser next week stays at Bowser Badlands to play against Ludwig in an away game, while Bowser Jr. plays another home game against Peach and has dropped to 4-10 at Bowser Badlands. And Bowser is now 7-7. Bowser Jr. season is officially over if it wasn't over already. It was all over. It is now officially over for Bowser Jr. 4-10, 2-6 in the division, 3-9 in the conference, and has to face Peach, who is still battling for a final spot. Whereas Bowser is 7-7, tied with Ludwig, and will play Ludwig next week on Friday night in what will be a very crucial matchup to determine who wins the division most likely. Thank you for the Mario Golf Premier League match between Bowser Jr. and Bowser.